Okay, I'm in day 4 now of this smoker build. I have been working a little bit, and I got a little bit more yet to do today. I got a few cuts to make, um, and I'll show you what I've been up to in the last few minutes. Okay, as you see here, I used these old pieces that I cut out of the top of the tank here, and obviously those holes need to be patched. So that's what I'm been working on here. I used the old pieces that were cut out. I saved them, and I have made these patches. One thing that's going to be interesting is you'll notice the curve of the tank here, and obviously these pieces of steel are not curved. In fact, they're very flat, and so that's going to be an interesting situation. I think I've got it figured out, but time will tell as to how I go about solving that issue. Likewise, when I go to mount these flat steel bands down here to between the top and the opening at the bottom, again, I've got a very significant curve to deal with here. Again, I think I've got it figured out as to how I'm going to go about it. But until I actually put it into practice and find out my ideas work or they don't work, I'll just have to play it as I go. That's where I'm at for now. I got a couple pieces of steel. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and cut the flat steel for this. That's where I'm at. Well, folks, I may have had a stroke of genius. That remains to be seen yet, but I think I've come up with an idea here that's workable. It's going to help me solve an issue that I was looking at and I've told you folks about before. So let me get it turned around and let me show you what I'm talking about. Well, I told you when I cut this seam here for the where the lid is going to open from the as we're looking at it from the right to the left over this direction, that the cut had widened itself out, and you see the band steel on here, the 1/8 by 1.5 inch band steel that's going to be on a 1/2 inch on this side and overhang the remainder to help cover this seam here. However, when I cut this, I've made it so that it overhangs here 1 inch, so that when I put the band steel, it comes down for the lid, where you see this scribe on here, that it's going to butt against this and overhang the inch over here. Well, in order to do that, I realized that I had to make this cut before I weld this band steel on, because once I weld it on, there's no way to go back and cut it underneath it. And I did the same thing down here. However, when I did that, the cut here widened out even further to about 1/2 inch because of the tension of the bend. And so, as you can see, I've thought about it for a little while and was trying to figure out how was I going to pull it back together, because I believe it's possible that if I can tack this band steel down with the tension pulled back together the way it is, it's going to help to retain the original cut, especially once I actually get it welded, where I actually welded rather than just tacked. Once I get it down, that's going to help counter the tension. So the next thing that I'm going to do is go ahead and move this over to into position where it needs to go, and cover the crack. And as you can see, I have already prepared this because I think this is not all rust. I think some of this is like paint under here, and so you cannot do flux core welding through paint. So I've gone ahead and cleaned that up all the way down in preparation. And I had originally thought that I would put these plugs in first, and I may now again go ahead and put the plugs in first, now that I believe I've come up with this solution for the for pulling this crack back together. And I also, wherever I have laid them, there they are, in order to fit these holes over here, and I'll show you real quick one of them if I can. My neighbor's not cooperating very much with his motorcycle, but at any rate, I did get the bends, and I had a way to, I don't have enough hands, but at any rate, it will, as you can see, it pretty well follows the contour of the bend here. So it will fit in there, and I can get it welded. And I think now that I've thought about it, I think I'll go ahead and do this. Weld these in first before I weld the band steel. Oh, one thing that I wanted to tell you: this is 1/8" steel, 11 gauge actually. And if you look, you'll see that this is much thinner. So it's going to be there's going to be a thickness differential between the two pieces of steel, and we'll just have to see how that plays out. So that's where we are, the end of day 4 now actually. And on Monday my MIG welder comes, so we'll be ready to at least move forward with plugs and putting this band on, and then once I do that, then I can do some more cutting on this lid and get it opened up here, hopefully. And well, I'll say also I'll be able to weld on my hinges that I made the other day. So onward and forward. Thanks for watching. Alright folks, my YouTube friends, it's been a few nights since I last recorded anything. Monday night, which was 2 nights ago, I got my welder and I started working on my tank here, my future smoker. And so let me show you what I've gotten up to here. First off, this is the welder I bought. It's Longevity 140. It's capable of doing both flux core welding and MIG welding, and I've been putting it to use and learning a little bit as I go here. Up here you can see where I patched in the holes that I'd cut out, and I'm also in the process of welding this band or flat steel across here. So I've gotten those filled in nicely. So this is where I'm at to this point. My hope yet tonight is to go ahead and get this side all welded down, and then I'd like to get my hinges welded onto it on the other side. Now if there's a problem when I pull this strap off, it's quite possible if I ratchet it back down again and then weld the hinges on, that's going to solve my problem as far as it lifting up on the back side, because over because it's going to be connected onto this flat steel, and then into the square box about an inch over here. And so my belief is that just simply the tension between the band, the rod has been bent into the steel over here, the box, that will hold it down. That's my belief anyhow. We'll see in practice. So that's where I'm at so far. And over here in my smoker, over here in the old Brinkmann, I got something new that I've never tried before. But I've got smoked what's in the process of getting ready to be Sloppy Joe. And so here in a few minutes, I'm going to throw the sauce to it and see what we got. So I'll be back in touch here shortly. Thanks for watching. Well, I've been working on cutting this top hatch open. I'm almost all the way through it. So I'm going to turn this camera around, I think, and hopefully when I cut all the way through, it's going to pop open and we're going to see what kind of junk's on the inside. I already pretty well know, but I expect to find a whole bunch of rust and other miscellaneous items. We'll see. Well, it didn't fall open like I thought it might. So let's see if we can pull it open. Well, there's one of those sharp edges again. And looks like a squirrel's been in here having fun. Sure is a lot of nuts from somewhere. So basically, a lot of rust, which was kind of what I was expecting. Alrighty, so now you see it. It's been a couple days since I've worked on it. I have gotten it stood back up, and my finger's doing a pretty good job of healing here. But I've gotten it stood back up, and as you can see, my cut doesn't look too bad. I do have a plan for closing this gap up here, but that's not in the immediate future. I got some other plans yet to do today. After I made the cut and stood it back up, I did have to do some grinding on both of these down seams here, or down cuts here, or if you want to call them vertical cuts. So I had to I ground down the lid side rather than the outside, because the outside here is a set distance. It's 2 3/4 inches all the way up and down all the way up and down the edge of the tank there, and I wanted to maintain that. And once I put the band or the flat steel on here, it's going to cover this up, and unless you really go looking for it, nobody will know. So I wanted to finish out this segment of my build, this particular video. Today I want to go ahead, I want to finish getting this flat steel put on this hatch, and I'd like to get the flat steel put here on the at least on the ends of the doors, and maybe get hinges on them as well. And if I get that, then I can go ahead and cut the doors out and get that taken care of. All right, folks, we'll see you in the next one.